All right, class, this is a continuation of some of the other videos that you've watched for the Unit 1 material and also for the Unit 1 discussion. So before you watch this, hopefully you will have already watched the generating random data video, which will show you how to take the Excel worksheet provided in the Unit 1 discussion and generate your own unique sample data set so that everyone in the class will have different data sets to work with this week. So make sure you've watched that. The other thing is make sure that you've watched the video on adding the data analysis tool pack to your Excel program. It's not hard. You don't need any special outside CD or anything. It just takes a few clicks, but you need to watch that because what I'll be showing you in this video on how to calculate descriptive statistics will involve using the data analysis toolpack. So if you have not already installed it, you won't be able to do a lot of things that I'm going to be showing in this video. So just make sure you've watched those other two videos that were provided in the Unit 1 discussion directions. And then this one will then show you, sort of complete those videos and show you how to actually do the summary statistic calculations using Excel and specifically using the data analysis toolpack. All right, so let me go ahead and get to the, let me pull up the IQ data set. Now, this is the original one where you're going to have watched the generating random data video and know how to go ahead, type your name in the green cell, press enter so that it gets you 30 new IQs. And then you're going to want to copy, Control C. I'm copying these, but remember from the previous video, you don't want to do just a regular paste because if you do that, you're going to continue to get these numbers. They're going to continue to keep changing, which is going to make it really difficult to be able to do your calculations. So let me go ahead and open up a brand new Excel spreadsheet. And these instructions, like I said, have already been provided on the earlier videos. So instead of doing just a regular paste, I'm going to come up here and click paste and go to paste special and then go to values and number formats and click OK. And there it has these already pasted for me. Now, if you get some versions, some newer versions of Excel may give you a message when you're doing paste special to paste, I think is like Unicode text or something like that. Whichever one it's already clicked on by default, go ahead and just keep that one. Keep whatever default is. Because with different students having different versions of Excel, there's no way in a video I can show you what's going to happen on every single different version. And, you know, as is with software, things sometimes change up. So if you get some weird pop-up message about Unicode text, just leave the radio button clicked where it is and go ahead and click OK and do your paste special. So I've got my IQs here. And I'm going to actually go ahead and delete the other workbook just so I'm clear that this is the one that I want to use. All right, so now I've only got one Excel workbook open. All right, so assuming that you've got your data analysis tool pack already installed, then I'm going to come over here to data. Notice you see the data analysis link, which lets you know that your tool pack is appropriately installed, and I'm going to click on that. And then if it's not already highlighted, you will want to go down and get descriptive statistics highlighted. Click OK. And then you probably will not have anything in your input range. It will be blank. Make sure you click your mouse in there so that the cursor is flashing in the input range. And then I'm going to go ahead and click and drag down my IQs. If you include the top label, like in this case, notice cell A1 has the word IQ in it. That's a label. That's not an actual number in my data set. Then if you include the label, make sure you've checked this box that says labels in first row. If you do not have a label in your top row or you have not highlighted the IQ, let's suppose you only went and clicked and dragged from here down, then you would uncheck where it says labels. All right. So if you include the label, make sure you check the box. If you don't include the label, so notice it shows I just started at A2. then leave the box unchecked because you are not including labels. Then you will want to make sure you come down here to Summary Statistics and check that box. And then you'll just click OK. And on another sheet, it will go ahead and have your output. I'm going to wedge my mouse right here between the line where column A and column B come together. And I'm going to left click and drag over to the right, because what that does is it widens row 1 or column 1. And therefore, I'm able to see my the words a lot better. So some of the things you're going to be asked for in the Unit 1 discussion. And really, if you've watched the video in the Unit 1 Live Binders on using a snipping tool, that's going to be great, because you could just use your snipping tool and snip this entire table and really have just about everything that you're being asked for in the Unit 1 discussion. You've got your mean, you've got your median, you've got your mode. Now your mode says NA, which could mean several things. It could either mean that there really is no mode in the data set, meaning none of the numbers occur more than the others, or it could mean you've got a lot of multiple modes, so it's just putting NA. So honestly, you don't need to stress out about that if you get NA, because, you know, the mode is, honestly, it's not going to be the most important number that we look at. And you have to get into some more special types of Excel functions if you want to calculate multi-modes. So I'll show you in just a second how you can go back and just look through the data. But otherwise, don't stress out about mode if you get NA. It just could mean the, you know, several things that I just mentioned. You've got your standard deviation. You've got your variance. All of these are things that you were asked for. So you've got your mean, your median, your standard deviation, your variance, your range, your min, and your max. And those are all the things that are asked for in the Unit 1 discussion. So that's how easy it is to do if you get your data analysis tool pack installed. If you cannot get it installed, you're going to need to continue to work towards getting it installed, because this whole course we use Excel to do our statistical analyses and all of our different calculations. So I'll show you a few things just to work with in Unit 1, so you will hopefully try not to get flustered. But continue to work on, throughout the week, work on getting the tool pack successfully installed, so that you'll be ready to go into those subsequent weeks and have what you need working to make it, you know, less problematic. All right, so let's go back to sheet 1. I'm going to go ahead and sort the values, and I can sort the values by just highlighting this entire column. I can either come up here and click on column A, or I could have also just clicked and dragged my mouse down the numbers. And then under Home, I'm going to go over here to where it says Sort and Filter. And I'm going to click on that. And then it should have this pop up and say Sort Smallest to Largest, or underneath Sort Largest to Smallest. I'm going to go ahead and sort smallest to largest. So I've highlighted my numbers. I'm coming over here and clicking A to Z, Sort and Filter. Sort smallest to largest. And now when you look over here, you see that we do have our numbers sorted. So if you wanted to look more carefully at the mode this week, then you can actually use this as a way to get your mode. And what you see here, because mode is going to be the number or numbers that occur the most frequently. What you see here is actually, it looks like the number 103 occurs 5 times, and that does appear to be higher than the others. So there is a little, with the data analysis tool pack, just some, you know, what I would consider maybe some inefficiencies about the mode, which is why I'm telling y'all, just don't stress out about that in this first week. Let's just work on learning Excel and getting comfortable with the tool pack. But you could go back and then just by sorting, see that 103 actually is the mode, and you could just include that in your write-up, that 103, once you look back, actually was the mode because it occurred more than the other numbers. So, you know, like I said, I've run into problems where sometimes I get NA, but then I go back and sort and can actually find a mode. So you can do that. Now let's suppose you have trouble this week on getting the tool pack installed. And so I don't want you to go into panic mode, but you're thinking, how am I going to get the work done if I can't get my data analysis toolpack installed? Well, Excel actually has its own individual functions that you can do to get the mean and the median and the mode and the standard deviation and so forth. So I'm going to walk you through some of those, but again, I can't emphasize enough to try to work on getting the data analysis toolpack working. All right, so you can use just separate individual statistical functions that Excel already has built in. It's not the most efficient way, but it would work for you to get your mean and your median and so forth. You just go to any blank cell and you start by typing in formulas with an equal sign when you use Excel. And the mean formula is just the word average. So in all caps, I'm going to start typing in the word average. Well, after just even typing in a few letters, you already see the built-in formula pop up here. It's the second one down. And when you already see it pop up, you can actually just go ahead and click on that word there instead of typing in the whole word, or you can just choose to type in the whole word if you'd rather. And it automatically opens parentheses. And then what you would do is just come and click and drag down your numbers, not including the label, close parentheses, and then press enter, and it will give you the average. Notice the 102 agrees, although it's been rounded, it agrees with the mean we got over here. Now, if you needed to show it to more decimal places, then this button right up here in the number section, I'm going to highlight back on the cell where my mean was, and I'm going to actually click this one that says increase the decimal and show more decimal places for a more precise value. So if I come up here and just click on that a few times, notice the more I click on it, the more it actually is showing me the actual number that I got using the toolpack. So if you have to do it this way, you may end up wanting to use this increase decimal places button up here so that you can get it to be a more precise a more precise statistic. So that was the mean, was just to use equal average. To get the median, equal sign again, you always start formulas with an equal sign in Excel. MEDIAN, open parentheses, click and drag down your numbers, close the parentheses, press enter. It says 103. Let's go back and look at the toolpack output, median 102.584. So again, I would just get in the habit of, with these numbers that are being rounded to whole numbers because our IQs were whole number format, to just come up here and do like that so you can get the more precise numbers for these things. 102.584. And as you see, that agrees with what we got for the median. Now, if you try the mode, and you try a single mode, because you can tell there's a single mode, we could go equal mode and then go to mode single, which you see right here. So mode single, click and drag and close that out. And again, it still gives NA. And like I said, there's just some, to me, some little bugs and stuff with the mode. So for just this week, mainly get in the habit of just sorting if you need to, if you get the NA. Now, you may not get the NA. But if you do, just don't panic about that and go ahead and just look back and sort the numbers and see if you can visually tell what the mode is. So we will move on then to the standard deviation. Now, because this is a sample, when I press the equal sign and then go STDEV, you'll notice there's STDEV.P and STDEV.S. You will want the sample standard deviation. Because as you'll learn in this course, we do not usually typically reach entire populations. They're too large to reach. So most studies in statistics are done with samples. Even the word statistic means a numerical summary from a sample. So make sure you come down here and press STDEV.S, not the .P. You'll get a different answer. Click and drag down my numbers, close the parentheses here. And this one actually already gave me to several decimal places, 14.52287. That also agrees with what I got over here. To get the variance, equal VAR. And once again, you're going to see VAR.P and VAR.S. Make sure you do the .S for sample, open parentheses, click and drag down your values, close parentheses, 210.9137. That agrees with what we got with the tool pack. Let's see. So we've done mean, median, standard deviation, variance, range. Now, range is tricky. Range is actually equal to the maximum value in your data set minus the minimum value. Well, we have it sorted, so you can tell that the maximum is 141 and the minimum is 73. So we'll just get the difference. But you can do it automatically because Excel does have a max function and a min function. So for range, I'm going to go equals, and I'm going to do MAX for max, open parentheses, click and drag down my numbers, close parentheses, but I'm not going to press enter. I'm going to then do minus and then do MIN for minimum, open parentheses, click and drag down my numbers, close parentheses, and then press enter, and I get 69. And in fact, if you did, let's see, 141 minus 73 should be 69, but it's not. It might have rounded it. Let's see. It's probably got it rounded. Yeah. All right, so I'm getting range of 68.6374. That now agrees. So, you know, I think you can tell even from this video that it's much more efficient if you can get your tool pack working and you just get these automatically in one shot rather than having to do all this tedious stuff. And then separately, I can go back now that I've got the range and I can do the minimum. That's just equal min, open parentheses, click and drag, close parentheses, and you get 73. That agrees with our minimum value. And similarly for the maximum, equal MAX, open parentheses, click and drag, close parentheses, and we get the 141, which agrees. So, you know, a little bit of just with rounding issues, you know, you can tell that these numbers have been in rounded format just to make them easy. But yet the tool pack is taking them to more decimal places based on the actual, you know, the formatting of the numbers. But, you know, main thing, Unit 1, don't stress out about the formatting of Excel. Don't stress out about rounding issues at this point of the course because we're really going to be relying on technology and letting it do its thing. And so rounding is not going to be a major issue when we just let the technology do its thing. The main thing about this course is to learn how to interpret everything. So, you know, the tool pack is going to be a great way in one shot to be able to get these statistics calculated without having to do tedious stuff step by step. So that's your main goal this week, is to try to get it to where you can get the tool pack output. And all you got to do is just use your snipping tool and insert that as your output this week. Try not to get caught up on rounding issues and things like that. And, you know, the main thing with this course is start early, especially in these earlier weeks of the course, just to try to help you get through the learning curve of Excel in case you're not really familiar with using Excel, or certainly not familiar with using it to do statistical analysis and stuff like that. All right, so hopefully that'll get you started by the time you've watched your generating random data video, installing the tool pack, and then this one has walked you through how to do descriptive statistics using the tool pack. Or if you just can't get it working this week, there are alternate ways to use Excel and get the calculations that you need.